Although he lost today. Not that Felix Mantilla, as if you needed to know, but there's Arancha Sanchez Vicario.
Boy, what a competitor she is as you look at the U.S. Open across the street from Shea Stadium. And there is a lot of activity around Shea Stadium and the U.S. Open today.
Yeah, that tennis stuff is all right, but this is the main event here. Mets fighting for a wild card spot. The umpire lineups brought to you by NAM, National Arbitration and Mediation, the most timely, cost-effective way to settle your legal disputes. The veteran Bruce Fremming, he's been calling him in the National League since 1971, will handle the plate with Wally Bell at first, Larry Vanover at second, and Mark Hirschbeck, the umpire, at third. Mets trying to beat the Braves for the first time this year. Atlanta's won the first 5, but there's lots of baseball to be played between New York and Atlanta. 4 games this weekend here, and then the teams will close out the regular season against each other with 3 more at Turner Field. And so Bobby Cox will offer this lineup against the New York Mets tonight. Oh, there's your Mets defense. We'll show you that right after we show you who's going to be attacking that defense from the batter's box. Ozzie Guillen will lead off and play shortstop with Gerald Williams in right, Chipper Jones at third. Javi Lopez having a tremendous year offensively in the cleanup spot. Remember, Andres Galarraga not playing. He's under suspension. Andrew Jones in center, so Greg Colburn has first base instead of Galarraga. Ryan Klesko is in left with Tony Graffinino at second and Tom Glavine on the mound. And for the Mets, it's Al Leiter, whose first pitch is served to left field, and Jay Payton, making his first start in the major leagues, hauls it in.
And the Mets, like Jay Payton, they felt he would be here in Shea a while back, but he had a major setback with surgery on his elbow. But he told me he's got very little pain in the elbow now, and he is swinging a hot bat in the major leagues. Couple hits in San Diego.
And Al Leiter's had about as hot an arm as any Met pitcher so far this season. Coming off a 4-3 win over the Dodgers. 8 outstanding innings last week, giving up just 5 hits and 3 runs, striking out 7. And a fastball taken up and in by Gerald Williams.
And if you compared Al Leiter's stuff with Tom Glavine, if you were a hitter, you'd rather face Glavine. But Glavine has been a highly successful pitcher.
Leiter hits the inside corner with a slider.
Al's ball moves a lot and throws that nasty slider. If Al's had a problem in the major leagues, it was control. But this year he's had real good control, cutting down on his walks.
And the 1-1 to Williams, busted inside.
Al Leiter breaks many bats when he has his good stuff during the course of a ball game.
Leiter making his 24th appearance, all as a starter. He's pitched 3 complete games. And the 2-1, he just broke another bat. Alfonso waiting. So 2 outs, 1 busted bat already.
And defensively, the Mets set up behind Leiter with Olerud, Lopez, Ordonez, and Alfonso in the infield. Payton, Allensworth, and Husky's first start since August 2nd. He's out in right field, Piazza behind the plate. So Husky working out the pain in the pulled hammy.
Yeah, Butch didn't expect to miss as much as a month.
Well, but I remember when he was upset they were going to put him on a disabled list, and Bobby Valentine said his history tells us that he doesn't recuperate quickly.
0-1 to Chipper Jones, who's had an outstanding season once again. Tied for the league lead in runs scored. Tied for 8th in the league in base hits, and he's now a 100 RBI man. Inside from Leiter to Chipper Jones, 1 ball, 1 strike. You neutralize Chipper's power against left-hand pitching. He's only hit 2 home runs against southpaws all year, 30 against right-handers. And the breaking ball, 2-1. Al Leiter, 3rd in the National League in earned run average. That's fouled off to the right side, over by the dugout, and out of play.
Well, when you look at Chipper Jones, you're looking at a star in the major leagues. He has really come on, and a lot of people felt his career was going to be in jeopardy because he ruined his leg running to first base a couple of years back while playing a spring training game against the Yankees. It's amazing what they can do with this modern-day surgery, though. He's good as new now.
So 2-2 to Chipper. 2 out, nobody on. Leiter deals. Weekly hit. Ordonez has some time and gets him. So again, Leiter comes in on the hands. Ordonez quick on his feet to throw out Chipper Jones. And the Braves go in order in the first. Nothing across. Atlanta nothing. And here come the Mets. Didn't spend much time in the field. Now they'll see how long they can stay at bat as we look at the Mets lineup for tonight against Tom Glavine and the Atlanta Braves. Jermaine Allensworth, who plays against Southpaws, leads off in center. Alfonso at third. Olerud at first. Piazza off a great road trip in the cleanup spot with Husky back in business in right. Jay Payton's first big league start in left field. Luis Lopez is at second. Ray Ordonez at short, and Al Leiter on the mound. So here's Tom Glavine. First in the National League in wins, tied for the Major League lead with Pedro Martinez and David Cone. They've all won 18.
I asked Bobby Cox, with Glavine and Maddox fighting for the Cy Young Award, is there a sensitivity on the ball club? He said absolutely not.
Allensworth fouls it away, 1-1. Glavine has been brilliant all season, but especially away from home. We've told you about some pitchers who are tremendous at home and struggle on the road. But Tom Glavine, away from Turner Field, 11-1 with an earned run average of just 1.81. And he's been murder on the Mets over the course of his career. New York has only won 4 and lost 10 against Glavine lifetime.
And it's tough to steal bases against Glavine. He has not allowed a stolen base in his last 14 starts. Allensworth lines it down the right field line, but it's going to go foul, and that evens the count 2-2. We talk about how big games are. This is a big series for the Mets. I mean, clearly they're after the wild card, and besides that, you got to win some ball games against the Braves. They're 0-5 coming into tonight's action. You know, there's a lot that Bobby Cox, or for that matter Bobby Valentine, can't say publicly. But I think in the case of the Atlanta Braves, they are praying that the Chicago Cubs become the wild card team. And that's because if the Mets were to get in, 2-2 to Allensworth is bounced foul. If the Mets were to get in and things as far as the standings were to stay the way they are now, the Mets would play San Diego in the first round, and Atlanta would play the Houston Astros. And they have struggled, the Braves have, against the Astros. In fact, they just lost 2 out of 3 to them. The Astros wound up winning the season series from the Atlanta Braves, taking 5 out of 9. And, you know, when you consider how you neutralize the power of Chipper Jones and Ryan Klesko by throwing left-handers, you get Randy Johnson and Mike Hampton 3 starts or so in a 5-game series. That can give Bobby Cox some headaches. Still 2-2 on Allensworth. And a headache for Pat Corrales there with the gray hair. What do you think, Fran? If you're the Braves, wouldn't you rather, under these circumstances, not have to deal with the Houston Astros? Well, it's an excellent point, but if I were that next word was but. If I were the Atlanta Braves, I would fear no one. Bounced foul. It's 2-2. That's right. When you're in a conversation and somebody says the word but, you're not going to like what you're going to hear. And you didn't even have to say but. The inflection was steering it in that direction. Bruce Benedict rubbing that ball up, a former Atlanta Brave catcher. And Allensworth fighting Glavine here. He's fouled off several to count 2 balls, 2 strikes. Just getting started at Shea. The Braves went in order in the top of the first. And Allensworth down on strikes as Glavine went upstairs to get him.
Batting second, number 13.
Glavine's another one of these in, out, up, down guys.
Oh, yeah, and he throws a lot of fastballs and the straight change. Reminds me a lot of a pitcher pitched many years ago for the Oakland A's and the Yankees, Kenny Holtzman. Look at that fastball, threw it right by Allensworth. He usually has pinpoint control, but it's amazing. He doesn't throw many breaking balls.
Off the outside corner to Edgardo Alfonso.
You know, for years you would be told by the experts a pitcher has to have more than 1 or 2 pitches to be successful as a starter in the big leagues. Well, Tom Glavine throws pretty much just 2 pitches.
He misses outside and low. 2-0 to a red-hot Edgardo Alfonso.
And it's a lot easier on your arm if you don't have to mess with a breaking ball like a slider.
That's a strike. 2-1. I think with Tom Glavine's off-speed arsenal, his fastball looks even faster and quicker than it is. And you saw him go up and get Allensworth with high heat. to right. Gerald Williams there. 2 men away.
And defensively for the Braves from Atlanta, in the outfield, Klesko, Andrew Jones, and Williams. In the infield, Chipper Jones, Guillen, Strapanino, and Colburn. Colburn in for Andres Galarraga. Galarraga's bat will be missed.
Galarraga will not be eligible tonight or tomorrow. John Olerud eligible for fatherhood imminently. His wife Kelly due tomorrow. Olerud comes in 1 point behind Larry Walker for the batting lead in the National League. John at 342, Walker at 343.
The home run chase has pretty much put everything else in the back burner, like the batting race, which is a very interesting race.
Mets, as we've told you often over this last month since the batting race really materialized, have never had a player 1 notch higher than when where Olerud is right there. And Glavine misses low, 2-1. Olerud probably the most patient Mets hitter. Olerud and Edgardo Alfonso. And that's bounced foul.
One thing you would say about facing Tom Glavine, if you're a hitter, he's comfortable. He's going to give you a comfortable 0 for 4. I'll tell you, it must be a delight to catch this pitching staff. First off, they're successful, so you're a genius when you catch these guys.
And if you don't get Glavine early, chances are you're not going to get him. Outside, 3-2, and that's almost cliche when you talk about the elite pitchers over the years. For some reason, you ever figure it out? Maddox, another one. You don't get these guys early. Chances are they're going to find their groove and you're done. So this will be a payoff pitch to Olerud. Slowly hit. Glavine gets over, takes the feed from Colburn, and just as the Braves went 1-2-3, so do the Mets in their half. So 1 in the books, first of a 4-game series at Shea. The Mets and Braves are scoreless. Second inning here at Shea Stadium. The Mets and Braves scoreless. Middle of the order for Atlanta to face Al Leiter, Javi Lopez, Andrew Jones, and Greg Colburn. And what a season Javi Lopez is having. As he takes a fastball inside. Lopez 32 home runs, 97 runs batted in. Became the second youngest Brave in franchise history to hit 25 home runs in a year. He accomplished that Wednesday night. Eddie Matthews was the fastest. 1 ball, 1 strike.
In my opinion, though, it was a setback for him when he couldn't catch Greg Maddox. Although he caught him in his last outing. He has to. He's just too good a hitter with those 97 RBIs and 32 home runs. And that guy right there can pitch to anybody.
Although Greg Maddox was beaten by Randy Johnson the other night. Lopez timed it perfectly. So Luis Lopez takes one away from Javi Lopez, and Luis celebrating his 28th birthday today.
And he celebrates with a nice play. Javi Lopez did not hit that ball hard. He got jammed. And Luis Lopez makes a great play. Now from our chase cam, watch this ball get in on Lopez. This is why Leiter is so tough. And Lopez, who's been on fire with that bat, lines softly, and Luis Lopez dove for it, made a nice play.
Andrew Jones fouls the first pitch back. Jones 25 homers, 77 runs batted in. Oh, Javi Lopez talking about getting robbed. Ooh. Foul down the left field side by Andrew Jones, and so Leiter's quickly ahead of Jones. 0-2.
Although Andrew Jones has been in and out of Bobby Cox's doghouse, Bobby Cox says this guy's as good as anybody who's ever played center field. That's quite a compliment.
He is a treat to watch defensively. He's got tremendous speed and anticipation. Bobby had to teach him something earlier this year. For instance, stay off the high fastball from Al Leiter. Evidently, Andrew didn't learn it. So Leiter's got his first strikeout, 2 men away.
Well, in this inning, Leiter's faced 2 batters. He jammed one and throws that high heater by Andrew Jones. You cannot hit Leiter up there.
really what Cox had to teach him was to hustle defensively.
That's
There
right.
were some plays that Andrew failed to make in the outfield that Bobby Cox was pretty annoyed at, yanked him out of a game and benched him for a couple more. So 2 out, nobody on. Greg Colburn. Wicked slider by Leiter. Colburn a Brave for the second time. He was acquired last August by Atlanta, was a productive pinch hitter for them, and then signed with the Rockies as a free agent. 0-2 now to Colburn. The Braves just got him back.
And Leiter can make good major league hitters look bad. He just overmatched Colburn right there, but he has jammed Javi Lopez, and look at that again, just throw it right by him.
Missed inside. Leiter ahead, 1-2. Got him. Jeez. Al Leiter strikes out a pair. Andrew Jones and then Greg Colburn. And Leiter has retired the first 6. So middle of the second here at Shea. Atlanta nothing, New York nothing. New York Mets baseball is brought to you in part by the new Dodge. It's about change. And here at Shea, the crowd will continue to fill in some of those empty spaces between seats with the U.S. Open going on. But for Mike Piazza, huge ovation. It's his 30th birthday. But oh, what a road trip Mike Piazza had. Glavine starts him off outside for ball 1. Piazza on that 9-game road trip, batting at well over 500, and you see the 5 home runs.
What a reception Mike Piazza just got.
And a line drive, base hit for Piazza. The first hit of the ball game for either side. Oh, Piazza trying to carry this team on his back, with help, of course, through this wild card chase. Piazza gets a good start tonight.
He had 536 on the West Coast trip, and Glavine gets the ball out over the plate. He goes with it. It's a line drive into center field. Watch Piazza, head down on the ball, extension.
So Piazza, a leadoff base runner at Al Butch Husky in his first appearance in over a month. He's hit Glavine well over his career. Interesting to see what Butch's timing is like here, because he went down for rehab and aggravated the hamstring injury, running a couple of balls out. So Butch not had any game action for a while. He accompanied the Mets on the West Coast trip. He's behind in the count here, 0-1. 1-1, and here's how Husky got hurt.
He's been working hard to rehab it, and he's running down to first base, and he pulls the hamstring on August 2nd, and he was upset he was going to be placed on a DL. Well, he was in quite a bit of pain. Fred Hina has worked religiously with him every day to get him back, but the rehabbing in the minor leagues is nice, and you know, you see a little live pitching. It's not like playing every day in the big leagues.
So the timing is somewhat overrated when it's against AAA pitching?
Well, it helps to get down and swing the bat. You'll see good pitching in AAA, but to play in the major leagues every single day, you're going to need more than 2 or 3 days in the minor leagues.
Butch up on the count, 2-1, and wouldn't you know it, he's got to test that hammy out right away, and he does it conservatively, which is understandable. Going down to second is Piazza, so Husky still favoring that leg noticeably.
Yeah, he said he feels a lot better. Now, he did not tell me he's 100%, and I'm sure he's nervous about pulling this hamstring again. And he slows up and does not really go all out going down to first base, and I don't blame him. He doesn't want to miss any more time.
He does move Piazza into scoring position, however. Mike on second with 1 out, and Jay Payton coming up. And this is a kid we may see a whole lot more of here at Shea Stadium. In fact, that was the plan. He should have been here had he been healthy at least a year ago.
Hard-working kid. He was out here early again today, working out, swinging that bat, working in left field.
Lopez wants it away. That's where Glavine puts it, but it's 2 balls, no strikes.
He should be a good major league hitter. He's been a good hitter.
Well, if you're planning on coming out to Shea this weekend, remember that the U.S. Open is also taking place here, so parking is at a premium. Make sure, if you can, to use mass transportation if at all possible. 2-0 on Peyton. They play him around to right, and he hits it the other way. Colburn takes it to the bag himself. Piazza goes to third, and now there are 2 men away.
Batting seventh, number 17, second baseman Louis Lopez.
So Glavine has faced one of the Mets' birthday boys already, Mike Piazza. Mike singled. And now Bobby Cox will watch Glavine go after Luis Lopez, who turns 28 today. Lopez already making a contribution with a solid defensive play to rob Javi Lopez of a base hit. Louis struggled a bit on the road trip. Struggled a lot at the plate, actually. 2 hits and only 15 trips. And Piazza's not the only one noticed by the fans on his birthday. Outside, 1-0. Lopez giving Carlos Baerga the night off. That's because a left-hander is on the mound. Baerga against southpaws, hitting only .204. But a birthday knock by Lopez could put the Mets, and would put the Mets in front. To the right side, Graffinino gobbles it up. And the Mets don't score. They got the leadoff man on as Piazza singled, but Glavine threw 3 ground balls after that. So at the end of 2, Piazza and the Mets and the Braves are scoreless. We go to the 3rd inning at Shea with no score. Ryan Klesko will lead off against Al Leiter. Our official scorer of the game is not seated in his usual perch tonight. Fran and I want to wish Red Foley a speedy recovery. Red had a mild heart attack last week, so he's recovering at Columbia Presbyterian Hospital. And Red is our scorer of the game anyway, brought to you by NAM, National Arbitration and Mediation, the most timely, cost-effective way to settle your legal disputes.
We had a chance to talk to Red prior to the game tonight. He's in the hospital here in New York, and he sounds good because he was cantankerous.
Well, I told him why he had it. It's because you actually agreed with one of his calls or rulings, and he couldn't believe it. The Reds doing fine, thankfully. Ryan Klesko also had some medical problems earlier this year. Remember when the Mets were in Atlanta just prior to the All-Star break? Klesko, yeah, he was in the hospital, or having just gotten out of the hospital, recovering from having his appendix removed.
16 home runs is somewhat of a concern to the Braves. They're expecting a lot more from Klesko, but as you mentioned, he had the appendix removed this year. He was at the ballpark when we were in Atlanta, although he was not able to play because of the operation.
3-1 to Klesko. He's made some adjustments at the plate. He's changed his stance around a little bit, and he's also lowered his hands.
That's what a slump will do to you. You start messing around with everything.
And the 3-1 inside, so Leiter has his first base runner to contend with as he walks Ryan Klesko. Well, tomorrow, Mike Piazza and the Mets look to continue their wild card run against Chipper Jones and the rest of the Eastern Division leading Atlanta Braves. Pregame coverage begins at 12:30 p.m., followed by all the action on Fox Saturday Baseball tomorrow, only on your local Fox station. Make sure to check your local listings. So Tony Graffinino, who has struggled all year at the plate, in particular over the last month, will be the batter. He and Keith Lockhart have been playing at second base. Reason Ozzie Guillen's at shortstop tonight is because Walt Weiss is hurt.
Yeah, well, Walt Weiss with a quadricep problem, and they're going to rest him for a little while, get that completely healed. Weiss having a nice season with the Braves. Graffinino doing a good job defensively, according to Bobby Cox.
Leiter has Graffinino way out in front, and it's 1-1.
It was tough, I'm sure, for Bobby Cox as you look at Walt Weiss, for Bobby Cox to see Lemke move on, because he was one of his favorite players.
But Walt Weiss has given the Braves everything they expected at shortstop this year.
And Blauser, who the Braves wanted to sign, is struggling with the Cubs.
Boy, is he ever. So much so, the Chicago Cubs aren't even sure he'll be on their postseason roster.
And the Braves wanted to re-sign Blauser. At the last moment, they couldn't get an answer from him. He was on a hunting trip, and his agent said we have to wait. Well, the Braves decided to go out and get Walt Weiss, and it was a break for the Braves.
2-1 to Graffinino. Klesko running, but the pitch hit foul. So the Braves playing hit and run, but Klesko will have to come back to first. The count's 2-2 on Tony Graffinino.
Talking to Bobby Cox before the ball game, he was not only looking towards every single game towards the end of the year, but mentioned how the Braves and the Mets will end up playing against each other in Atlanta.
3 games at Turner Field to close out the regular season. And the Mets hope that that regular part is relevant, that there is more to go after that Sunday, 3 weeks from tomorrow. Ordonez quickly to Lopez, back to first, a double play. Quick releases all around, and it becomes a 6-4-3. 2 out, nobody on.
Well, you hit that right on the nose, Howie. Quick hands, quick releases. Watch Ordonez get it to Lopez quickly. He just moves to his right, and then one motion, bang, perfect throw. And Lopez with a quick release to first base. Quick hands and quick feet, very important for a shortstop and a second baseman.
Especially on a ball like that wasn't hit all that hard. So now Glavine, you got to watch out for him with the bat. Glavine 16 out of 61 this year.
This is a pitcher's delight. He sees it, and he reacts to the double play.
It looked like he was broadcasting it to himself. That's how we grew up in Bayside, calling our own games. 2 balls, no strikes on Glavine. Al Leiter, certainly one of the more animated pitchers in the league, and Bobby Valentine was just raving about him before the game today.
Well, you have to love his stuff. We didn't see, you know, we saw him occasionally, but watching him during the course of this year, he's got no hit stuff. He's tough. He's done it in the past, but he's going to do it again with his stuff.
3-1 though to the opposing pitcher, Tom Glavine. You realize when you say that a pitcher is going to throw a no-hitter as a New York Met, it's never been done before.
Right.
Unbelievable.
But he has the stuff that he could do it.
Glavine takes the fastball, and the count's full. Mets, San Diego Padres, the Colorado Rockies. Other, of course, than the 2 new teams. Only teams without a no-hitter. Oh, this won't be a hit against Leiter. So he's kept the Atlanta Braves hitless through 3 now. Did issue a leadoff walk to Klesko, but double play by Graffinino took care of that. 2.5 in the books. Still scoreless. New York Mets baseball is brought to you in part by your local Chrysler Plymouth dealers. Yeah, so you got your tennis across the street. Right here, the Mets and the Atlanta Braves going to the last of the 3rd inning. Crowd still filing into Shea Stadium. We told you, take public transportation. Understand there was a big traffic jam outside the ballpark, and a lot of folks who've already bought tickets missing the early part of this ball game.
Well, it was rocking here around noontime with traffic.
That's getting here a little early.
No, that was for the U.S. Open. Now, the big thing, keep in mind, 3 more games coming up against the Braves, and seats still available. That's playing good baseball coming off the West Coast trip.
Graffinino takes it off the dirt, and Ordonez retired, 1 man away. So the Mets miss Greg Maddux this weekend, but the rest of the Brave staff is no mere bag of shells.
You see Kevin Millwood 14 wins, John Smoltz 13 wins, Denny Nagel with 14. Greg Maddux will not pitch. He'll pitch Wednesday against Houston. He's 17-7. And earlier today, well, it had to be around 2:30, Greg Maddux was walking across the field here, heading towards the dugout in the clubhouse with John Smoltz. They must have come out in the subway. Now watch this. Greg Maddux got to the mound. He stopped, and he went up on the mound and took a look to make sure he'd be comfortable. And he's not even pitching in this series. John Smoltz was standing there in the grass watching him.
Maddux is probably takes the most scientific approach of any pitcher in baseball, and he sure backs it up. 1-2 to Al Leiter. But I guess you're surmising that they might have taken the subway here. Can you imagine the greatest pitcher of this generation getting on the subway to go to the ballpark?
And you know what? I bet you not many people recognize that.
Yeah, that's where I'm going with that. I mean, Sandy Koufax never could have done that. People would have recognized him, but Maddux wears the glasses, and he looks, you know, so nondescript in terms of athletic prowess. Not a big, overpowering looking guy by any stretch. And Leiter down on strikes, 2 men away.
But, you know, you hit it on the nose when you think about it, Howie. Talking about Greg Maddux, he's got a chance of going down as the greatest pitcher in the history of the game. As you look at Bobby Cox, the manager, and Leo Mazzoni, the pitching coach. And Maddux is the guy, I mean, if you watched him in college ball right now, and you put the gun on him, you question of whether or not you'd sign him.
Maddux is in the clubhouse now working on his next disguise to get him through the subway trip. And Tommy Glavine back to the top of the Mets batting order. Jermaine Allensworth. Allensworth struck out on high heat his first time. And 0-1 now to Jermaine.
This has all the makings of pretty good pitchers, Julia. In a contrast in styles, a guy like Glavine, who, when he needs to, he can throw the ball by the hitter, but Al Leiter on the other side of the field can just dominate hitters.
1-1 now to Jermaine Allensworth.
And when you think of how close the Braves came to trading Glavine away to the Boston Red Sox. Now we're going to take a look at that last pitch from Tom Glavine. And the pitch way inside on Allensworth.
Two and one. I bet you can get caught thinking too much that he's going to come inside because he's not overpowering.
And he doesn't come inside that often.
Yeah. And
he's so smart that he'll go inside and catch you by surprise. Now they're going outside.
And he hit the target, but off the plate.
Just the way Javi Lopez caught that ball. I mean, anybody watching the game here on TV has to say, I could catch him.
A lot of off-speed stuff. He'll throw the fastball. Bobby Cox was telling Fran an occasional slider. Although you don't seem too sold on it. You think he's just telling you that to throw you off.
I was kidding Bobby about it. I said, you know what? His slider must have a quick, tiny break to it. He said it does.
Well, you know, if we can recognize one of his sliders, compare it with Leiter's. Leiter's has that violent break against the right-hand batters.
Yeah. Leiter, when he throws his slider to a right-hander, it has broken bat all over it.
Maybe even broken ankle. And the payoff pitch to Allensworth fouled away.
But there's little effort in watching Glavine. Very little effort when he throws the ball to the plate. I remember Major League hitters, we used to watch Jim Palmer from the dugout when we were facing him, and there was no expression. I mean, it wasn't that exerted expression on his face. Nobody could believe how relaxed he was in throwing the ball. Watch his motion, how fluid it is.
You know, relaxed is a key phrase, too. When Glavine first came up, I believe his first game was against the Mets, and he was a very emotional kid, almost bordering on hothead. He's calmed down.
Now look at from our chase cam. Watch how relaxed he is. Pitching on the right side of the rubber as far as he can get on the right side. Look at very little effort. You look at a guy like that, you figure he's going to pitch till he's 50 years old.
And he gets Allensworth going upstairs on the outside corner. So Leiter with quite a matchup tonight against him as Tom Glavine has struck out 3, allowed only 1 hit through 3, and we're still scoreless.
No score here at Shea Stadium. Among those on hand, Jets wide receiver Keyshawn Johnson. The club heads to San Francisco tomorrow. What are the prospects for a good season for the Jets?
Well, you got to start off with San Francisco on Sunday. Hopefully we can go in here and we can do some positive things and come out on a positive note and turn our focus to Baltimore.
Now we understand you have a bit of a baseball connection. You were a bat boy for Rod Dado when he was coaching at USC.
Yeah, just a little bit of background. Not as much as these guys out here, but you know, at times, you know, I wanted to play baseball, but I think football is in my best interest.
Made the right decision. No question about that, fellas.
All right, Matty, Keyshawn, thank you. Al Leiter has just given up his first hit of the night. Ozzie Guillen with a leadoff single in the 4th. And to tell you more about it, here's Fran.
All right, Howie. So Guillen on first base, and here's that base hit. Guillen going with the ball right back up the middle, just out of the reach of Ray Ordonez. So the Mets have the Braves have a runner on first base. And the batter now, Gerald Williams. They check Guillen at first base. Al Leiter. So far far. He's allowed 1 hit. Tom Glavine, the same thing. Nice crowd on hand for this game. Ball is fouled back and out of play. So Gerald Williams with the bunt, attempted bunt. Looking at the crowd here at Shea Stadium. First of a 4-game series. Come on out. Mets playing some good baseball. Jay Horowitz told us plenty of seats still available. Should be a great weekend here at Shea Stadium. 4-game series. The final game on Monday, Labor Day. Down and in.
Now, you just mentioned Jay's name because he was in here giving us a report on Todd Hundley tonight. Todd caught for the first time this year, caught 5 innings. Norfolk beat Richmond 4-3. Todd went 1 for 2 at the plate with a walk and a single, but the suspense has to do with his throwing. Nobody ran on him. He did not make the throw.
Swung on and missed, 1 and 2. That's what you like when you're catching, when nobody tests you.
I was talking to Bobby Valentine about Hundley before the game, and he said no matter what happens down at Norfolk, he doesn't think Todd's going to catch at all up here this season.
Well, the Mets trying to project really in watching Todd. They hope he'll catch at least 3 games. Now look at Olerud and Guillen. It's like a dance routine. Popped up down the right field line. Husky favoring the hamstring, makes the grab. And Guillen goes back to first base.
Well, you know, it's funny. Ozzie Guillen, a career American leaguer coming into this year, started the season with the Orioles, then they waived him and he wound up here in the National League. I don't think any American League teams use this alignment. And of course Guillen, now he's got to peer around Olerud here. From the looks of Guillen, he wasn't even sure that that was kosher. But turned out, of course, that it is, and he had to go back to first. So again now, I mean he's awfully uneasy about this, huh?
Yeah, he's talking to Wally Bell, the first base umpire, telling him, get Olerud out of my way, he's taller.
You know, the thing is, when I talked to Bobby about it earlier in the year, and this is the first year he's used this alignment, he'll use it only with left-hand pitchers on the mound, or usually with left-hand pitchers on the mound. He minimized what seems to be Guillen's biggest problem here, which is peering around the base runner.
And there's a drive to left field. Payton is there and makes the grab. So Chipper Jones hitting the ball hard. He's now 0 for 2.
Jimmy Leland is the guy who started it here in the National League. Jay Payton, his first chance defensively, actually his second. First with a runner on base, no problem getting the ball back into the infield. But Jimmy Leland, when he was at Pittsburgh, now of course in Florida, started doing this. And what Leland told me earlier this year was that for him, he thought the biggest advantage was distracting the base runner, making him search around the first baseman.
Javi Lopez gets jammed, loops it into right field. Guillen was on the move. He'll make it to third base easily. So that's the second time Javi Lopez has been jammed tonight by Al Leiter. This time Lopez wins the fight, driving Guillen to third base, and the Braves have runners on the corners with 2 out.
Well, it's the first time in this whole sequence that the base runner Ozzie Guillen was in motion. And again, the ball in on the batter's hands. Javi Lopez hitting it weakly, but it drops in, and that meant that Guillen was able to go first to third. He just said, the heck with this peering stuff. I'm going to the races. And when that ball dropped in, Guillen could have skipped all the way to third. So the Braves now runners at the corners and 2 men out. Guillen's just happy to know where the third baseman is.
Guillen's on third. Lopez on first. And there's that nasty slider Howie was talking about, down and in on Andrew Jones. Jones, who struck out in his first at bat, has 25 home runs and 77 RBIs. He has scored 77 runs this year. 21 years old. Pulls the ball foul and hard. And Guillen says, I can't believe it. Is Bobby Dews. He's the third base coach with the Braves.
Well, A, my name is Alice. D, my name is Dews. Even had the jump rope up.
That's it. Tip of the hat. He's happy he can do it. And the 1-1 pitch to Jones. Bounce to the second. Should be an easy play. Scored 4-3. And the Braves strand 2 runners here in the top of the 4th. They fail to score. We played 3.5 here at Shea. Zip, zip, Braves and Mets.
New York Mets baseball is brought to you in part by Discover Card. It pays to discover. Accept it where you see the Novus sign.
Oh, you come out to Shea Stadium. The food is terrific. The atmosphere very good. Big crowd on hand. Braves and the Mets. Great baseball. No score. We go to the bottom of the 4th inning. This is the first of a 4-game series, so come on out tomorrow afternoon. Catch all the action. Let Ray Ordonez and Edgardo Alfonzo entertain you defensively. And offensively, Alfonzo leads it off here in the bottom of the 4th. 2 hits for the Braves, 1 for the Mets. Tom Glavine's first pitch, outside, ball 1. Beautiful night for a ball game. Alfonso hits a ball off the end of the bat. Klesko comes in and makes the grab. 1 down.
First baseman John Olerud.
Well, professional basketball returns to Madison Square Garden on Wednesday, September 9th with the 5th annual New York All-Star Basketball Classic benefiting wheelchair charities. Teams coached by Knick legends Dave DeBusschere and Willis Reed will feature a host of NBA superstars. Tickets available at the Garden box office and through Ticketmaster at 212-307-7171.
The first pitch to John Olerud is outside, 1-0. Olerud coming off a solid month in August. He had 45 hits and 20 RBIs. He takes down low. 2 balls and no strikes. Olerud batting right now .341. Rounded to short his first time up. Down low. 3-0. Well, Tom Glavine is known for his control. He's going to come on back, I think, against John Olerud. There's a strike, 3-1.
Talked about Olerud's patience before. In fact, he and Alfonso probably the most patient hitters in the Mets lineup. It's probably negated somewhat against a guy like Glavine, who's always around the plate.
They like Johnny baseball. He takes down low, ball 4. So Olerud walks.
First walk issued by Glavine. Leiter has only walked 1, and here comes Piazza.
Yeah, listen to this. Well, Bobby Valentine told me in San Diego the fans are going to be very important this last month of the season here at Shea Stadium. Mike Piazza celebrating a birthday today along with Luis Lopez. And the first pitch from Glavine. There's a long drive. Forget it. Home run. Wow.
Well, the great thing about this wild card race is that all 3 teams have one elite hitter who can carry a team right through these last 3.5 weeks. But even with all the home runs Sammy Sosa's hit, I don't know that he's doing as much as Piazza's done the last couple of weeks. Barry Bonds, of course, could do it for the Giants, but this guy's doing everything in his power to will the Mets through this last month.
Home run number 29.
Glavine left it around knee-high out over the plate. And Piazza jumped on it.
And yes, everybody knew it was gone. This ball was crushed. There are 2 or 3 guys in baseball that can hit a ball like that. He's one of them. The other guy, another guy in St. Louis, and this year's Sammy Sosa, put Griffey in that class. Boy, he crushed that ball. Jay Payton now the batter, 1-0. He was quoted as saying one thing he loves about New York, his teammates. Ground ball is short. Guillen scored 6-3. And that'll do it for the Mets. But that guy, Mike Piazza, going long ball. Great swing. There's the score, 2-zip Mets. Well, Greg Colburn steps in to face Al Leiter. Leiter with that hard slider, down and in, ball 1. We have a 2-0 ball game. Mets on top of the Braves. We're in the top of the 5th inning. Mike Piazza with a long 2-run blast in the bottom of the 4th. Bobby Dews is going to say, I don't want to coach third base anymore. So it's 1-1 at Greg Colburn. And players looking into the stands, make sure everybody's all right over there. It's 1 ball and 1 strike on Colburn. Colburn with 3 home runs this year. Down and in. 2-1. He's got his work cut out for him because he has to fill some big shoes while Andres Galarraga is suspended. Struck out his first time up. And the 2-1 pitch. Down low. 3 balls and 1 strike.
Galarraga will miss not only tonight's game but tomorrow's as well. That'll be the final of the 3 games.
Big rip. 3 balls and 2 strikes.
Leiter got a big out in the top of the 4th inning, getting Andrew Jones on a ground ball with 2 men out. And here again, the slider down and in.
Ground ball is short. Ordonez gets him. We talked about that quickness. He got rid of it in a hurry and gave Olerud a good bounce.
Yeah, the question is the bounce here on purpose? Ozzie Smith used to do it all the time on AstroTurf, and from that throw, it looked like the bounce was intentional because it bounced a good 15-20 feet in front of John Olerud. He's got to get it away quickly, even though Colburn is pretty slow. But he had a lot of action on the ball, and it took a nice hop right off the grass to Olerud.
Ryan Klesko fouls the ball off. Klesko in his first at bat walked. The Braves have 2 hits in this game. The Mets have 2. Piazza flashing signs to Leiter. And the 0-1 pitch is hit to second base. Should be an easy play. Scored 4-3. 2 down.
Second baseman Tony Grampanino.
Well, for a good shortstop, fielding and throwing sometimes really do happen in one motion. Watch Ordonez reach into the glove just about the same second that the ball reaches the leather. And with one quick, smooth motion, he's able to expedite his throw, bouncing it to get Colburn by a step.
Tony Grampanino, the batter, takes down and in, ball 1.
I mean, just think of the fraction of a second that Ordonez has to get that ball to first base to begin with. But you get Colburn by a step, and by having the hand in the glove at the time the ball gets there is probably the difference between getting him and not getting him.
As Grampanino takes up high 2-0.
I mean, if you catch, you reach, and you throw, that spends more time than the way Ordonez just did it.
Yeah, and that was a great shot of him with the hand ready to get that ball out of the glove. 2-0 pitch, down and in. And keep in mind, we have watched Ray Ordonez now for so long, we expect the one-handed play. There, he made all Little League coaches very happy with 2 hands and got rid of it quickly. Here's the 3-0 pitch. There's a strike, 3-1. And if you're going to bounce a ball to the first baseman, if you're an infielder, make sure you give him a good hop. The short hop is tough. The in-between hop. 3-1 pitch. There's a strike. 3-2.
It'll be interesting to look at over the next few games is how many other shortstops are able to do that. You know, you take for granted that Ordonez even makes the spectacular plays look easy. How many other shortstops are capable of doing that?
And the 3-2 pitch. Ball 4. Grampanino walks on a borderline pitch.
Al Leiter's angry at himself because Graffinino's a guy you don't want to walk. He's not hitting at all. He's only 5 for his last 39. You have the pitcher up next, albeit a good hitting pitcher in Tom Glavine. And Leiter just a little bit off the plate, so Graffinino has a 2-out walk. Well, it's walked 2 now, and he's also struck out a pair.
And a batter now, Tom Glavine. He takes inside, ball 1.
Did Al almost overthrow that because of his unhappiness at having walked the 8-hitter?
Maybe.
Looked like he overthrew a little, didn't he?
Yeah, and now Mike Piazza wisely goes out to talk to Leiter, just calm him down.
Yeah, he looks angry with himself because of Graffinino.
Well, he walked the 8th man, and now he has to shut down Glavine. And you mentioned in the opening how good Glavine swings the bat. Now it should be different tonight because Leiter's tough on all left-handers.
3 times in Glavine's career he's been the best hitting pitcher in the National League.
There's a strike. 1 ball and 1 strike on Tom Glavine.
Of course, with a designated hitter you don't even have to specify National League, but Al Leiter has been a hitter in this league for a couple of years now, since coming over from the Yankees and the Blue Jays to the Marlins and now the Mets.
Inside, 2-1.
Been a marvelous season for Al Leiter from the very beginning. Leiter, of course, part of a world championship team in Florida last year and a free agent at the end of this year, so he's putting a lot of positive numbers into his resume.
It's 2-1 now, and Glavine hits the ball hard right at Lopez, and that'll do it for the Braves. Here in the top of the 5th, they strand a runner. We played 5.5 here at Shea, and it's 2-0 Mets.
Last of the 5th inning here at Shea Stadium, the Mets with a 2-0 lead over the Atlanta Braves, and our Jeep game summary shows you a whole lot of pitching and a home run by Piazza. And by the way, Butch Husky leaving the game at the end of the 4th inning. He'd had 2 at-bats, grounding out twice, and he certainly seemed to be hobbling, in particular after his first ground ball out on a slow hit ball in the 2nd inning. I'm not sure whether or not it was Bobby Valentine's plan to give him a couple of at-bats, and if the Mets had the lead midway through the game, to get Husky out of there. Remember, Bobby was doing that with Todd Hundley when Todd came back and was playing left field, and Al Leiter has those 2 runs in his hip pocket now, courtesy of Piazza.
And Luis Lopez steps in and fouls off the first pitch from Tom Glavine. Lopez 0 for 1 in his game. He grounded to second base his first time up. He'll be followed by Ray Ordonez and then the pitcher Al Leiter. Outside to Lopez. 1 ball and 1 strike. First of a 4-game series, the Braves and the Mets. And the Mets head back out on the road. It's a fly ball, shallow center field. Jones calling for it and makes the grab. 1 down.
Shortstop Ray Ordonez.
So with 1 man out, the batter will be Ray Ordonez. Ordonez grounded to second base his first time up. Ordonez takes down low, ball 1.
Well, for each home run the Mets hit this season, Fox Sports New York makes a contribution to the Ronald McDonald House charities. Mike Piazza's home run, the Mets 117th this season.
And there's a strike. 1-1 on Ray Ordonez. And the 1-1 pitch. It's a ground ball in the hole. Base hit. So Ordonez picks up a hit with a big turn at first base. He heads back. So the Mets have a base runner with 1 man out here in the bottom of the 5th inning.
Pitcher Al
Boy, from the looks of things, Ray really wanted second base. Ozzie Guillen had his back to the infield as he retrieved the ball. And, you know, Ryan Klesko does not have a great arm in left field. The ball just nudging off of Guillen's glove, which is enough to slow it down. That's what had Ordonez thinking about second base, because the ball had slowed. But Ray deciding to play it conservatively. The Mets up by 2, and Leiter will probably try and bunt him over.
And he lays down a good bunt. Glavine, a good fielder, goes to second, gets the force. Leiter safe at first. So Glavine getting that ball and throwing a strike to second base. 2 outs.
Well, the only problem here is that the bunt was too hard, which gave Glavine time to get there, set, and make a strong throw to Guillen. A lot of times when a pitcher is off balance, you don't have the chance to get as much on the ball, and perhaps that would have made it a closer play. But because the ball was hit hard, it gave Glavine time to get ready, and they almost doubled Leiter up.
So 2 men are out. The batter now with Al Leiter on first base. Jermaine Allensworth. He's 0 for 2 in his game. Struck out both times against Glavine. And Glavine misses outside. Ball 1. Allensworth, 26 years old. Started off with the Pirates. Mets got him from Kansas City after he was traded to Kansas City, as the Braves are not holding Leiter on. Down low, 2-0.
Now it's probably mumbling back towards first baseman Greg Colburn. Show me some respect. Hold me. It's only a 2-run lead.
So it's 2 balls and no strikes on Allensworth.
Remember, Glavine's gotten him up twice. Struck him out swinging with a high fastball, and then caught him looking at something up and out on the outside corner.
Allensworth fouling the ball off down the right field line into the crowd and out of play. Bobby Valentine. Happy about that winning road trip on the West Coast. Historically, teams from the East struggle on that West Coast swing. They come back home to take on the Atlanta Braves, one of the best teams in baseball. The 2-1 pitch, swing on and miss, 2-2. So come on out tomorrow afternoon as the Mets take on the Braves again on Sunday and Monday here at Shea Stadium.
Let's see what Glavine does here now. 2-2. We mentioned how he's struck Allensworth out up twice. Just got him on a change that was low.
2-2 pitch, misses outside. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Now you take a look, nice and easy, as Javi Lopez just sit. I'm telling you, you want to go downstairs and catch. You saw Javi Lopez frame the ball. I'll tell you what, this guy is an artist. Tom Glavine. He's having a super year, and that's one of the reasons why. Stays in the corners. We've played 5 here at Shea, and it's 2-0 New York.
New York Mets baseball is brought to you in part by America Online, the world's most popular internet online service. America Online, so easy to use, no wonder it's #1.
And we go to the top of the 6th inning here at Shea Stadium. Big crowd on hand. Ozzie Guillen leads it off for the Atlanta Braves. It's 2-0. The Mets on top of the Braves. And backing with the play-by-play, Howie Rowe.
All right, friends. Al Leiter going back to the top of the Atlanta order now. Ozzie Guillen with one of the 2 hits that Al has allowed so far. Leiter has struck out a pair, getting Jones and Colburn back-to-back to end the Atlanta second. And the fastball right there. 0-1 to a guy who was one of the premier shortstops in his day with the Chicago White Sox. Ozzie Guillen
Had a huge injury.
Yeah.
I believe it was a collision with a player in the outfield.
Yeah, it was Tim Raines. Guillen fouls it off, and Alfonso's got to play.
It was a real setback for Guillen. Nice play for Alfonso over by the wall. But it really set back that kid's career. I mean, they had him in the top echelon of shortstops in Major League Baseball. As you look at Alfonso make that catch.
So 1 up, 1 down in the Atlanta 6th. And Gerald Williams will be the batter. Gerald plays against the left-handers. Michael Tucker plays most of the time in right field against right-handers. Williams hitting .371 against left-hand pitching. 0-1 to the former Yankee.
The player the Braves are concerned about as far as production right now is Michael Tucker. Tucker, who plays the outfield for the Braves, just went flat on the Braves. And Bobby Cox said he's one kid he's concerned about.
Tucker hitting at 252 right now. Williams 290 coming in. And with that 0 for 2, he's down to 287. Two to nothing New York. We're in the 6th. Mets looking to the scoreboard for help. And they see that the Pittsburgh Pirates have helped. The Cubs were leading 2-0 in that game at Three Rivers Stadium, but in the bottom of the 6th inning, the Pirates tied it against Mark Clark. They're all even in the 7th. The Mets one behind the Cubs for the wild card. And that's hit well to right field. Allensworth to the warning track, and he makes the catch.
That ball kept drifting, and so at Allensworth. Now Butch Husky starting right field, coming off the injury to his hamstring. It was a tough play for Butch because he'd had to go all out for this ball, and you don't want him to re-injure, although he probably would have played a little bit deeper in right field. Allensworth in a shallow right field and going back the ball very well.
So Allensworth's speed allowing him to play shallow enough so that he could still track that ball. And now there are 2 out in the 6th inning. Brian McRae in center field as Chipper Jones fouls it off.
Well, you're looking right now, one of the best all-around players in the National League, Chipper Jones, having an MVP type season. He's 0 for 2 tonight. But he's a terrific player.
And Chipper hits it deep to left field. Down the line. Foul ball.
And Chipper's power is usually from the left side of the plate. Al Leiter went in to get a new ball and started to talk to Mike Piazza right around home plate. He didn't wait for anybody to throw the ball out to him. He went in to get it. Leiter challenging Chipper Jones. That's a pretty good pitch. Chipper Jones hammered a good pitch and hit it just foul. Gonna tip your hat to him.
The pitch was a slider out of the strike zone.
Yeah.
And Chipper went down to get it. 0-2 to Jones with 2 out and nobody on. Now they want away, and that's where it goes. It's funny, you talk about hitter hitting a good pitch. Maybe the most devastating regular season home run ever hit against New York Mets by Terry Pendleton in 1987 was hit off a pretty good pitch from Roger McDowell. That pitch was down. So good hitters can hit good pitches a long, long way. Good pitches meaning pitches that are out of the strike zone.
You know, it's funny because when you're in a dugout, rarely does a hitter go into the dugout and give the pitcher credit, and rarely will a pitcher give a hitter credit. Usually it's after some block. And you say, you know, you had a pretty good pitch.
Fouled away, still one. I'll never forget that Terry Pendleton home run. Mets within a game and a half of the first place Cardinals, September of '87. They had a 2-run lead with 2 out, 2 strikes. McDowell threw him a sinker well below the knees, and Pendleton hit it out dead center. Jones just took one off the ankle and almost hit it out. So Leiter ahead 1-2. And Jones hops up. Luis Lopez there. Side retired. So Leiter gets him in order, although Chipper flirted with a home run. And middle of the 6th, that's Shea. Piazza's home run still. Well, fans, the Mets are having an end-of-season sale on Majestic Mesh Fashion jerseys. Call right now, and you can get a Mets fashion jersey for only $50, and that's a $10 savings off the regular catalog price. These things come in 3 great colors. You see the blue in the middle. They call it Columbia blue, the orange on the right. We've even got a red one up here. To order, call 718-803-4020. That's 803-4020. Get them right now. Hurry, though, because sizes are limited. Operators are standing by to take your call, so order this baby right now.
Now, let me tell you something. I went out to get Howie. They did not sell these when Howie was a kid who snuck into Shea Stadium.
No. I paid my way. I'm an honest man.
Well, I went out and I got you this. Of course, I talked to Kid Geist to get this, and we want to present you with this shirt. And I'll tell you, it's a good-looking Mets shirt.
Is this a gift?
Yes, it's extra large.
There's no catch.
It's extra large. Kid said if it doesn't fit you, I could keep it.
All right. Well, she knew she was in the right neighborhood when she gave you an extra large.
Good-looking shirt.
So hurry up. Operators standing by at 718-803-4020. 2-0 the count to Edgardo Alfonzo. Followed by John Olerud and Mike Piazza. 2 balls, 1 strike. Fran was nice enough to give me a gift of one of those Mets polo shirts early this year, which he got especially for me, and it was like an extra large.
And I kept it.
Which he, yeah, exactly. Just a little bit too big. That pitch a little bit outside and low. So Alfonzo ahead in the count here, 3-1. Glavine has only walked 1, but it was the hitter that preceded Mike Piazza. So plenty for Leo Mazzoni to rock about. Full count now to Alfonzo. Fonzie's hit it in the air twice tonight. And he has struggled against Tom Glavine, as have many others. Glavine, an 18-game winner, host of the National League. And the payoff pitch to Alfonzo. Popped up. Foul ball. Lopez by the dugout. Nice play, Javi Lopez.
That's a very good play by Lopez. He got over to where the ball was coming down. He didn't glide over there, and he made the catch.
He had a human cushion waiting for him.
And also, the glove is so important for catchers. You can use it like a first baseman's mitt. The old-timers had to use 2 hands. But because of that glove, it's almost like a first baseman's glove. You can use the one hand. It has the hinge in it. Now watch Lopez. This is not an easy play. I mean, you don't want to be sliding into the dugout like Mike Piazza did a couple weeks ago. Nice play by Lopez.
John Olerud fouls one off. 0-1 to John. Remember now, this is the Coors Light Silver Bullet 6th inning. Micah Mizell from New York is tonight's lucky fan. So if a Met homers this inning, Micah gets dinner for 2 at a participating brother Jimmy's. Olerud with 18 home runs, 80 RBIs, and Piazza's up next. 1-1 now to John.
You don't see Glavine lose his composure. I mean, he looks like he's in complete control, although he's trailing 2-0 right now.
Line drive, base hit for Olerud. So John's 1 for 2, and here comes Piazza.
Well, Piazza's been comfortable tonight. Listen to this crowd. Second inning, Piazza on his birthday. Home of the best Piazza. A line drive base hit into center field. In the 4th inning, a Ruthian. Oh, that ball was crushed. He has excited the crowd here tonight.
Way outside. You know, Piazza, since coming to the Mets, has hit 3 or 4 balls out there. I don't know that Met players before Piazza got here would hit 3 or 4 over the entire picnic area in any season. That's a poke, 485 feet the last one.
How about the time he hit the sharp sign?
And Glavine keeping it away. 2-0 now to Piazza.
But there are a lot of signs here from Mike Piazza tonight.
Hey, those people in the picnic area, the Pepsi picnic area, got in free tonight. Part of the Friday night Pepsi promotion. All they needed was a Pepsi can or bottle. And then they were able to go souvenir hunting. Courtesy of Piazza. This will be a 2-0. Again, Glavine going away. Crowd thinks Glavine doesn't want any part of Piazza. They may be right, even with Brian McRae on deck. That's how hot Mike's been. Mets leading 2-0. Cubs tied with the Pirates 2-2. Giants play the Dodgers later. Ball 4 in a row out of the strike zone to Piazza. He's been on all 3 times now. Second walk, Glavin's allowed.
Center fielder Brian McCray.
Looks like Bobby Cox and Leo Mazzoni wanted 1 or 2 of those calls. Mike's had plenty to talk about last couple of weeks. Plenty for Bobby Valentine to smile about. So here's McCray, his first plate appearance. Brian did not start the game, but Husky left after a couple of at-bats following 4 innings. So Allensworth, who was in center, went to right. McCray's in center field. 0-1 to Brian McCray.
Brian swinging that bat from the left side of the plate.
Yeah, Brian a switch hitter, but against the left-hander, trying to take Glavin's changeup away from him.
It's got to be uncomfortable when you play your whole career switch hitting. Then all of a sudden you say, well, I can hit this guy better just batting left-handed, and he's a left-handed thrower. Now, we've talked about Glavin doesn't throw many breaking balls.
Should explain, by the way, and his breaking ball, a slider that's almost imperceptible, Fran was saying, but we talk about taking a pitcher, a left-hand pitcher's changeup away by batting left-handed. Generally speaking, the changeup will break down and into a left-hander, which is where left-hand hitters generally like the ball.
You know, it's funny. I've heard that said that you take it away from the left-hander, but if I'm catching a left hand and he has a good changeup, he's throwing it. Because the secret to the changeup is to get the hitter off balance. You want him way out in front. And right here, to me, it looked like a fastball right there. But if
you insulting him, you're saying you couldn't tell his fastball from his changeup.
It's funny because the straight changeup is so the hitter doesn't hit the ball on the fat part of the bat. You want to keep him off balance. Of course, you want to have some good movement on it. But I don't know how effective Brian would be seeing a left-hander's breaking ball because he doesn't see many as a left-handed hitter.
They shade him the other way in the outfield, and McCray goes the other way with power. Klesko to the wall, and he has just enough ballpark to make the catch. So McCray hit it to the warning track. Klesko is there. Now there are 2 men away.
And Brian looked comfortable batting from the left side of the plate against Tom Glavin. Hit that ball hard. He thought it had a chance, but Klesko got to the warning track and made the grab.
So still 2 on, 2 men out now. Ryan Klesko, an improved outfielder, not to be confused with Barry Bonds necessarily, but boy, when he first started playing left field, it was an adventure.
We saw it here at Shea Stadium.
We did.
And the Braves used to take him out late in the game, but he, as you mentioned, he's improved.
So here's Jay Payton. He's hit it on the ground twice. Brian McCray just hit one in the air that threatened to make this a 5-0 Met lead. As it is, New York in front 2-0. Chicago and Pittsburgh have now moved to the last of the 7th, still tied at 2. Jay Payton's first big league start. And the fastball. 2-0 now. Remember, Jay has that surgically repaired elbow, and it could be that Bobby Valentine makes another defensive move after this inning. He has Lenny Harris on the bench. Two and one, and Bobby can afford to be, as most managers around baseball can now, a little bit more liberal with their personnel moves, because now the teams have brought their September call-ups to the big club, so they have more players on the bench. Easier to pinch run and make defensive substitutions. Outside, 3-1. Mets, by the way, added to their September call-up crew today with a very, very interesting prospect, Mike Kincaid. I'll tell you more about him a little bit later, but he's the kid they got for Bill Pulsifer from Milwaukee, a tremendous hitting prospect. And so has Payton been throughout his minor league career. He's ahead in the count, 3-1. And a line drive the other way, right field. Williams has room. And the side retired. 3 outs, Gerald. So no runs, 1 hit. Glavin left 2 aboard. Although 2 gave it a pretty good ride. Still 2-0 New York. 7th inning. Time to tease your brain with our Aflac trivia question. The last Atlanta Brave other than the pitcher Greg Maddux to win a Gold Glove. That is your assignment should you choose to accept it. Whether you do or not, we'll have the answer for you in a little bit. Middle of the order for the Braves as we go to the 7th inning. Javi Lopez, Andrew Jones, and Greg Colburn coming up. Andrew Jones probably have a few Gold Gloves by the time he's done. Javi Lopez 1 out of 2, singled his last time up. Gets jammed, pops it foul. Heard that song before, and Olerud grabs it.
He's been jammed 3 times tonight. Just goes to show you how tough Leiter is. I mean, Javi Lopez is having an outstanding year swinging the bat. And Al Leiter all 3 times has gotten into his kitchen. Popped that ball up in the foul territory, and Olerud ran a long way for it, made the grab.
So with 1 out, Andrew Jones the batter. 25 home runs now for Andrew Jones.
21 years old.
Eddie Matthews was 16 days shy of his 21st birthday when he hit his 25th.
This guy's an outstanding player. The guy in Montreal in right field,
Vladimir Guerrero,
he's as good. Might be better.
These two are going to be around for a long time.
They signed Guerrero to a long-term deal the other day. The Expos did.
2-1 now to Andrew Jones. So think about Eddie Matthews now. He was 16 days shy of his 21st birthday when he hit his 25th home run on the last day of the 1952 season. So Andrew Jones, the 2nd youngest Brave in franchise history to get to 25. Andrew 21 years 4 months old.
But Eddie Matthews is proudest of the fact that he snuck into Ralph Kiner's wedding.
Not surprised.
He was a kid. Ralph had a celebrated wedding out there.
And a bouncer that Alfonso snags. Jones can fly, but Fonzie gets him. So Alfonso throws out Andrew Jones. Leiter just moseying on along here, having allowed only 2 hits. And both of them came in the 4th inning. Al's walked 2.
Alfonso moving to his left, and then the throw across the infield to get the speedy Andrew Jones. Left side of this infield, really the whole infield is a good defensive infield for the Mets. The right side has been conservative. The left side has been flashy.
0-1 to Colburn. Count even, a ball and a strike. 2-2 Chicago and Pittsburgh, now top of the 8th inning at Three Rivers. Sammy Sosa, in case you didn't know it, hit number 57 early in the ball game. Cubs built a 2-0 lead, but the Pirates came back. And another hitter jam. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Colburn. This copyrighted telecast is authorized under television rights granted by the New York Mets solely for the private non-commercial use of our audience. Any publication, reproduction, retransmission, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this game without the express written consent of the New York Mets and Fox Sports New York is prohibited. 1-2 to Colburn, way outside. Bobby Cox has had the Braves in the postseason virtually this entire decade. Every year there's been a postseason with the exception of 1990. Another hitter jam, but this is going to be a tough play for Lopez, and he can't make it. That ball had a lot of backspin on it.
That was a severe jam shot. Broke his bat, and as Howie mentioned, that backspin helped him out.
Left fielder Ryan Klesko.
If you're going to get jammed like this, you hope it's a hit. I mean, the ball dropped behind Al Leiter. And it had a spin. Look at Al Leiter's reaction. That ball had to be spinning all over the place. Watch Al's reaction.
Well, he did his job. He jammed the hitter. So now the tying run comes to the plate. Nothing Lopez could do about that. Ryan Klesko coming up. That's hit hard. Will it hang up for McRae? It hung up too long, and it went past McRae, and that's going to score a run. Colburn coming around to score. Klesko in at second. And now it's a 2-1 ball game. So Leiter jams a hitter, gets a bad break, and then a fly ball hit right at McRae sails over his head. And suddenly the tying runs at second with 2 outs.
Well, Klesko hits this ball hard off Leiter, and the ball just carried. They say for an outfielder, toughest ball to judge is the line drive hit right at you, and McRae came in, the ball carried over his head. Good hitting by Ryan Klesko. McRae came charging in, and the ball kept carrying, and it rolled all the way to the wall.
So now Leiter's got to get Tony Graffinino as Klesko doubles in a run. 61st RBI of the year. 2-1 New York. Leiter walked Graffinino his last time up.
For every action, there is a reaction. And we're going to see Leiter's reaction to that ball sailing over McRae's head. On Tony Graffinino. Ordonez throws him out, side retired. But the Braves with a 2-out run. Klesko sailed it over McRae's head. Leiter gets out of further damage, and it's time to stretch here at Shea. Well, at first the question was, will the ball by Klesko hang up for Brian McRae? In the end, it wound up sailing over his head. So McRae talked about it on the bench between innings. Mookie Wilson, one of the Mets coaches, first base coach, who works with the base runners and the outfielders, talking to McRae about the way that ball took off, almost like a golf ball. Yeah, I'm sure it's happened to Mookie. Toughest ball when you're in that outfield is that line drive, and when it sails, you're in trouble when you come on in.
Seen the ball carry well tonight. Luis Lopez takes a strike to start the Mets half of the 7th inning. There are a couple of balls that have traveled well. In fact, the one that Jay Payton hit to end the 6th inning.
I'll tell you, the ball that traveled real well was Mike Piazza's.
Well, there was no question where that one was going, though. 1-1 to Lopez. Gerald Williams hit one in the 6th inning that Jermaine Allensworth had to get. And all of Piazza's offensive prowess, bet you that conversation had everything to do with pitching. And Lopez has himself a birthday hit. So on his 28th birthday, Luis Lopez 1 for 3. Tommy Glavine has now allowed 5 hits in the ball game.
Well, Glavine making a decent pitch, but he got more of home plate than he's used to getting. One of the things that helps, excuse me, Howie, one of the things that will help a pitcher is that that umpire stays with the catcher and gives you that pitch off the plate.
So we'll see how the Mets play it. The Braves have Chipper Jones at third in tight with Ordonez taking a strike from Glavine.
If you watch Javi Lopez catch Glavine, he is never in the center of the plate. Usually that glove is on the corners. And you see the defense. You see Chipper Jones on the grass.
Of course, Chipper and the Atlanta Braves protecting against the possibility of a bunt and run. Certainly a hit and run is possible here.
Chipper came up as a shortstop and has turned into a good defensive third baseman.
Ordonez certainly won't be sacrificing. You wouldn't think anyway. Wouldn't expect a sacrifice with a pitcher up next.
Mookie is an active first base coach, right behind the runner as they're taking the signs from Cookie Rojas.
1-1 to Ordonez. That's with a 1-run lead. It was 2-0. And Ray with a full swing fouls it to the screen. It's 1-2. Mookie happy about the fact that Preston, his son, back in the big leagues. Florida Marlins called him up after a good year at AAA. Preston, as you know, had a cup of coffee with the Mets in May before being included in the Mike Piazza trade.
Very memorable night for Mookie and the family when Preston came up and played here with the Mets. Mom was very active that night.
And the 1-2 in there for a called strike 3. So Glavine slipped the fastball by Ordonez. And now with 1 out, you would expect Al Leiter to be bunting. 5 strikeouts for Tommy Glavine. Well, our Aflac trivia question has to do with Gold Gloves. The Atlanta Brave to win the Gold Glove, other than Greg Maddux, of course, last one to do it. On Al Leiter. And the winner is Marquise Grissom.
And then what happened? He ended up in Cleveland. And Kenny Lofton, who everybody raved about, ended up with the Braves.
And he's back in Cleveland. Jones going to try at second. And a nice pick by Ozzie Guillen. So Leiter for the second time unable to push a runner up.
We've seen 2 plays at second base tonight where the Braves cut down Met runners on the top half of a squeeze play. I should say a sacrifice. Guillen making a nice play right there when the ball bounced. Chipper Jones aggressively going towards second base, and they get Lopez. You won't hear it when you're watching TV, but that catcher comes running out calling where the player should throw the ball.
Allensworth has struck out all 3 times. He won't strike out this time, though. Guillen's got a long throw against a fast runner, and he gets it there. So the side retired. The Mets go down, wasting a leadoff single from Luis Lopez. So Ozzie Guillen still with some range at shortstop. And at the end of 7, 2-1 New York. Allensworth slipped. New York Mets baseball is brought to you in part by Omnipoint. 100% digital, 0% hassle.
Yeah, we're going to get a pinch hitter right now. Eddie Perez will pinch hit for Tom Glavine. Perez batting .312, 4 home runs, 27 RBIs. He's the backup to Javi Lopez.
So Glavine, as of this moment, cannot take over the league lead in wins, with the Braves trailing as we go to the 8th inning, unless Atlanta were to rally here against Al Leiter. Glavine went 7, gave up 5 hits and 2 runs. Runs coming on Mike Piazza's 29th home run and 20th as a Met. Walked 2 and struck out 5. And so the Braves backup catcher and the personal catcher to Greg Maddux goes after the first pitch, and Eddie Perez has a leadoff single here in the 8th inning. So the Braves put the tying run on instantly. Let's see what else is coming up here in the next few days. Monday, the matinee between the Mets and the Braves close out this 4-game series. It'll be a 1:30 start here on Fox Sports New York. And then on Tuesday, John Olerud and the Mets continue their wild card pursuit against the Phillies at the Vet. That's at 7 o'clock. Plenty of Mets action coming up this week on Fox Sports New York. Please check your local listings.
Eddie Perez with a base hit and a broken bat. So a break for the Braves.
George Lombard in to run at first base for Perez.
You hate it when the opposition gets a leadoff man on. They can do so many things, especially with a guy like Guillen batting now.
Ozzie Guillen can handle the bat, which means he can get a bunt down pretty well and slap it the other way if necessary. And immediately Olerud back to first base to take the pickoff throw. Mets have led since the 4th inning. Atlanta got one of those 2 back in the 7th. Chicago and Pittsburgh 2-2, top of the 8th inning. Sosa has number 57. And Guillen unable to get the bunt down. He clipped Piazza, though.
I guess it hit him right on the leg above the shin guard. Take another look. That ball bunt right off. It looked like in the thigh area. No protection there.
We talk about Piazza and how banged up he is. He's played 130 games. Is it safe to say, Fran, across the board, any catcher who's played that much this time of year has to be banged up?
Yeah.
I mean, he's not taking more of a beating than anybody else in his situation, is he?
No, catchers take a beating. It's just emphasized more if you're watching Piazza because he's so valuable offensively.
In other words, you don't care if the 240 hitters get knocked around.
No, that's right. There's no sympathy.
1-1 on Ozzie Guillen. So Guillen checking in with Bobby Dews. Only one of those little gestures matter. Actually, two of them, the indicator and then the next side. Right. Indicator is what tells you that the next one is the real one. And Guillen bunts it to Alfonso. Play it second, out, back to first. Not in time. So Alfonso with a good throw to second base to get Lombard by a healthy margin. Lombard did go in hard, though.
Right fielder,
and the bunted ball. Nice play. Alfonso charging and quickly goes to second base to cut down the lead runner. And the off-balance throw by Ordonez. Guillen just beats it. Now Alfonso gets it to Ordonez. Watch that throw from second base. He didn't have time to step. And it's off the mark. Al Leiter's reaction.
He'll certainly take the one because it keeps the tying run out of scoring position. Gerald Williams coming up. Williams 0 for 3. He's hit it in the air 3 times, popping out to third, flying twice to right.
Guillen's complained. How can he complain? He can't see the pitcher's move.
He's been petitioning Wally Bell, the umpire at first base, all night, at least the 2 times he's been on.
Look at him. He's trying to get a peek around all the route.
He didn't read his scouting reports, did he?
Well, you know, Bobby Valentine uses this type of a setup when he feels the pitcher does not have a great move to first base.
But Bobby's used it with a left-hander on the mound all year.
Yeah, but it depends on what. Yeah, he has used it with left-handers, but obviously you made a decision early on about the move of a left-hander.
Guillen is just stumped.
If you have a left-hander in mind with a great pickoff move, you would be doing him a disservice using this type of a setup. But if you don't have a great pickoff move, it's a service to the pitcher because, number one, Guillen can't see the pitcher.
He looks absolutely baffled. Guillen does.
I think it's a thought-provoking move.
Well, he's got into Guillen's heads to a certain extent.
Guillen.
Nasty. 1-2 now to Gerald Williams. So 1 ball, 2 strikes with 1 out. Guillen was in motion once tonight. Had to come back on a foul ball and went as the pitch taken up high 2-2. Actually, the last time that Guillen was in motion, that was back in the 4th inning after he singled, was when there were 2 out and Javi Lopez up. And Bobby Dews showed the sign that told Guillen the hit and run was on. And the hit and run worked to perfection. This is going to be Leiter's 100th pitch. That doesn't count, though. Pitches to the plate are what they chart.
This really is disconcerting to Guillen. He's not used to this move. And Bobby Dews flashing signs. Guillen says, forget the signs. I can't see the pitcher.
Pulled to Alfonso. To Lopez. To Olaruda. Double play. 5-4-3. And Guillen has just about had enough. So Al Leiter throws his second double play ball of the night. No runs, 1 hit, nobody left, and one terribly frustrated Ozzie Guillen.
We believe in education.
The New York Mets, Fox Sports New York, and your local cable system will bring thousands of tri-state area kids to a Mets game at Shea Stadium this season. We've asked your local cable system to distribute Mets tickets to students through several nonprofit organizations that support education in your area.
And watch the Mets on Fox Sports New York.
And study hard in school this fall.
Because we all believe in education.
Well, football season opens this weekend. Follow the local teams all season on MSG. The Football Network tonight at 11. Tune in to Heineken Jets Journal. Find out what Bill Parcells has planned for their NFL season opener against the 49ers. Get all the inside info straight from the Jets players and coaches on Heineken Jets Journal, premiering tonight at 11 o'clock on MSG. So the Mets with a 1-run lead. They'll try and get some insurance here in the last of the 8th inning, and they will do it against John Rucker, who becomes the second Atlanta pitcher in relief of Tom Glavine. So John Rucker has had 10 straight scoreless outings from the bullpen. One of many pitchers who have been tried by the Braves since Mark Wohlers and all his problems forced Mark to the DL. And a fastball taken on the outside corner by Alfonso. 0-1. So after a great road trip, Fonzie cooled off so far. He's behind in the count, 0-2. About Mark Wohlers, he has been having all kinds of control problems even at the AAA level.
Yeah, his last 3 outings were very difficult.
1-2. So Kerry Lightenberg has been the closer. In fact, everybody expected the Braves to go out and get an experienced closer at the trade deadline. Turned out the San Diego Padres figured, you know what, let's claim Randy Myers, make sure that the Atlanta Braves can't get him. A couple of weeks ago, Myers went to the San Diego Padres, got a win against the Mets on the road trip. 2-2 to Alfonso. And Lightenberg had been doing just fine until the last couple of times out. So now the question is, has Lightenberg thrown too much? Because he hasn't pitched this much in his major league career. Kerry Lightenberg only a Brave for 15 games last year. 2-2 now to Alfonso. Rocker misses, so he was ahead 0-2. And that 95-mile-per-hour heater out of the strike zone runs the count full. Rocker, 24 years old, coming in October out of Statesboro, Georgia.
And take a look at Rocker with that adjustment of the ball in the glove.
Fouled away. Boy, it almost looks like he's pounding the ball into the glove the way you would your hand if you're an infielder or an outfielder.
You don't want too much movement in the glove because of the umpires. They'll interpret it. If a runner's on base, you try to deceive the runner. Look at the way he's pounding that ball in the glove.
Well, he pounded that one past Alfonso.
That was a good fastball.
Well, he throws hard. If you were watching our ray gun numbers in that little Fox box, you notice that he's in the mid-90s. He has struck out more than a batter per inning.
Look at this, the way he's pounding that ball in the glove, and then he rears back and fires a good fastball right by Alfonso. Another look from a side angle. A lot of action in the glove. Reminds you a little bit of Steve Avery facially.
Yeah, a little bit. Avery never threw quite that hard. Even before his arm trouble. John Olerud 1 out of 2 with a walk. Leave the Mets this weekend. His wife Kelly's due date is tomorrow. Everybody wishing John and Kelly well on the birth of their first child in the next couple of days. Fouled away, 0-2. John will find out what sleepless nights are all about. At least for the first few months, right?
Oh.
Pennant race isn't enough to keep you up at night. Those 4 a.m. feedings will do it. 0-2. And he foul tipped it into the glove of Javi Lopez. So Rocker has rocked the Mets with a couple of strikeouts. They'll have to raise the bar a little bit now because here comes Piazza.
Well, Rocker has shown a real good fastball, so he'll face a good fastball hitter. And Piazza crushed the ball earlier in this ball game. A long bolt off the bat of Mike Piazza. 29th home run of the year.
1-0 to Mike, and raising the bar is not intended to take anything away from Alfonso and Olerud. who have been as solid a hitter as the Mets have had all year, but this guy is just locked in right now. They're singing happy birthday to him.
I've never heard that.
And Piazza's got his third hit.
I never heard that.
I don't know if you could pick it up because it started just about when the pitch was delivered. They started singing happy birthday in unison.
Center fielder Brian McRae.
Wonder if they'll go back to that.
He's on fire is right. 3 hits in tonight's game. And Piazza, while the crowd was singing happy birthday, picks up his 3rd hit of the night.
Brian McRae, the batter. Fans were singing a different tune when that fly ball by Ryan Klesko sailed over McRae's head in the 7th inning, which allowed Atlanta to score a run. But talked so often about how the ball hit right at the center fielder can give him fits. And Brian thought it was a Titleist rather than a baseball headed that way. 1-1 to McRae. I've never heard that before. I mean, without the, without the prodding of the scoreboard or anything. I wonder if they'll do it when Lopez is up again, if he gets up again. 1-2 to McRae. Take a listen now. This is the best we could do. So his thank you was his 3rd hit. And McRae down on strikes, so John Rocker strikes out the side. Although there was Piazza. Piazza 3 for 3. McRae 0 for 2. Now the Mets will try and hold on. We go to the 9th inning. The Cubs are tied. The Mets are in front. Mets baseball is brought to you in part by the Dime, the bank that's with you all the way. And all the way is exactly what Al Leiter is going to try and do against the Atlanta Braves. 9th inning, 2-1 New York. Cubs and Pirates tied 2-2 there in the top of the 9th inning. And the first pitch upstairs to Chipper Jones. Leiter will deal with Chipper, Javi Lopez, and Andrew Jones here in the 9th inning. Al, not much over the 100-pitch mark and nothing doing yet in the Mets bullpen. Fouled away 1-1, and on a night like this when it's warm, it would not take John Franco too long to get ready if Bobby Valentine and Bob Apodaca need him.
You can feel the electricity in this ballpark tonight. I'm sure Bobby Valentine feels it. He'd like to have it end here in the 9th.
Deep left field and down the line, but it's going to go foul.
This is the 2nd time Chipper Jones crushes the ball foul down the left field line. We talked about it earlier, how his power is usually from the left side of the plate.
Last time it was a slider that was out of the strike zone around the ankles. That was up. Next pitch is down, and so the count's even. Add it all up, and it's 2-2 on Chipper. Leiter has 3 complete games, most of any Mets starter. Hideo Nomo also has 3, but 2 of them came with the Dodgers. Rick Reed's completed 2. Armando Reynoso 1. Just off the plate. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Leiter wanted it. Braves with 5 hits. Chipper's 0 for 3. It'll be a payoff pitch. And Jones stays alive.
You could hear somebody on that field exerting himself. It might have been Al Leiter. It might have been Chipper Jones.
Maybe it was somebody serving across the street.
Yeah, you heard that.
Yeah.
They stopped that in tennis. It's illegal. Too much noise.
And the payoff pitch. Ball 4. Leiter has walked the leadoff man. 3rd walk issued by Leiter. And the 4th time now in 9 innings that the Braves have put the leadoff man on. So some concern for Bobby Valentine. Javi Lopez will be the batter. Leiter has walked 3 now. Only struck out 2. And Javi Lopez 1 out of 3. High with a fastball.
It looks like Al's starting to labor right now as you look at the bullpen. John Franco and Turk Wendell throwing in the Met pen. Mike Piazza going to go out and get Bobby Valentine and Bob Apodaca some time for their pen to get loose.
Piazza and Leiter know you got to be careful with Javi Lopez. He's been on quite a home run streak. He's hit 4 home runs in his last 5 games, 7 in his last 9. So this is a guy who can turn this game around with 1 swing of the bat. He also extended a hitting streak with that 4th inning single to 12 games. So Al's got his work cut out for him here. Jones, decent speed at first. One and 0 on Javi Lopez. And the fastball missed. So Leiter walked the leadoff man. He's behind Lopez 2-0. Playing Javi Lopez to pull. And he does. Alfonso comes up with it. That's a force. And that's a double play. 5-4-3. And Al Leiter has done it again. The 3rd ground ball double play that he's thrown tonight. And Edgardo Alfonso has been in on the last 2.
Huge double play by the Mets. Alfonso taking a potential base hit away, and they turn it 5-4-3.
So they get Javi Lopez by a full step.
Huge double play here in the 9th inning. As Howie just mentioned, Javi Lopez has been on fire with that home run ball.
Mentioned that 4 times Leiter has allowed the leadoff man to reach base. 3 of those innings, including this one, he's thrown a double play ball. And the Braves are down to their last out. Andrew Jones 0 for 2. And it's 0-1. Mets are looking for some help from Three Rivers Stadium. The Cubs and Pirates are tied 2-2 in the top of the 9th inning. Mets 2, Braves 1, 2 out, 9th inning. Leiter's thrown 110 pitches. Inside, 1-1. Leiter's last complete game win was back on the 16th of June in Montreal, a 2-0 shutout. And the 1-1. In the air, it'll stay in the yard. Peyton wants it, put it in the books. Al Leiter has beaten the Atlanta Braves. Mets 2, Atlanta 1. First victory of the year for Bobby Valentine's Mets against Atlanta. So the 4-game series off to a good start, of the birthday boy hit the long ball that proved to be the difference.
Just a huge win for the Mets, and Al Leiter with a complete game, and the Mets needed it tonight. The first game against the Braves, first of a 4-game series, and it was the battery tonight, along with good defense behind Leiter, that did the job. Piazza with the long home run, Al Leiter coming on and shutting down the Braves.
Al Leiter, 14 wins, 5 losses on the year. His earned run average, 3rd best in the league, will drop even lower than the 2.47 that he took to the mound to start the game. So the Mets have done their job. If they get some help from Pittsburgh, they could be tied for the wild card in a little while. Come on back.
That's one of many signs that were shown at Shea tonight. The fans showing their support for Mike Piazza and the Mets, who come away with a 2-1 victory this evening over the Atlanta Braves, opening up this 4-game series in fine fashion as they pick up their first win of the season against the NL East leaders. Joining us on the post-game show, Mike Piazza, who had his 29th home run of the season. And you have been on some tear lately, something that we knew you could do from your days in L.A., but it's certainly interesting to see it up close and in person.
Yeah, I've really been swinging the bat well the last week, and it's basically just like a wave. I mean, you have to ride it as long as you can, and then hopefully keep getting quality pitches to hit. And you know, I got a good pitch to drive tonight, didn't miss it.
Yeah, the first pitch from Glavine in the 4th inning, a 2-run shot, a monstrous shot deep into the night here at Shea.
I hit that pretty well. I mean, I've just been staying on the ball well, driving it to all fields, and just hit it right on the screws.
Well, this is your birthday, your 30th birthday. There were a lot of signs of fans wishing you happy birthday. Did you hear them serenade you in your last at-bat with the happy birthday?
Yeah, I'd personally like to thank all the fans for all the gifts and all the cards. It's been wonderful. I really appreciate it. It's been very flattering, and I'm honored the attention they're giving me on my birthday. So I just want to keep playing well, and you know, it's a tough series. We got a few games left with these guys, and they're definitely as good as they're playing.
Is that the first time the fans ever serenaded you with happy birthday? Have you heard that for any player before?
Well, actually, I heard it one time in San Francisco, but I think it was more of a mock serenade. So I mean, it was sincere here. I mean, you know, obviously San Francisco all years in the Dodgers, it wasn't too sincere, but that was fun. And you know, again, I was happy to contribute tonight.
There's no question it was heartfelt from the fans this evening. This groove that you're in, as I said, first time the fans in New York have been able to see it up close on a regular basis. How does this compare to some hot streaks you've had in L.A.?
This is a good one right now. I mean, you know, it's like anything. I mean, guys have been getting on. Johnny's just been unbelievable getting on base, and you know, you can't drive yourself in every time up. You have to have guys out there, and guys have been getting on the base for me. So I mean, it's definitely a team thing. I mean, you have to have guys around you swinging the bat well, so they're gonna, you know, try and pitch you tough, pitch around you. So I mean, you have to have that, and it's good to have a quality hitter in front of you and behind you.
All right, Mike, congratulations on the big night and happy birthday.
Thank you, my pleasure. Appreciate it.
3 for 3 tonight for Mike Piazza, including the home run, and you can hear the fans giving him a big cheer as he walks off into the clubhouse as the Mets come up with a 2-1 victory. Al Leiter with his 14th victory of the season, and a big win tonight for the Mets here at Shea. Howie.
All right, Matty, thank you, and thanks to Mike Piazza. And the Mets might very well need this win just to stay 1 game behind. That's because the Chicago Cubs got a run in the top of the 9th inning and now lead Pittsburgh 3-2. But Leiter wins his 14th. Piazza hits his 29th, and the Mets beat Glavine. Only 5-10 lifetime now against Tom Glavine, but a New York Mets victory tonight in the opener of this 4-game series. 2-1 your final score. So again, the wild card standings reflect 2 games still in progress. You know about our game, of course. As of this moment, the Mets a half game behind. If they get some help from the Pirates, they can pull even. The Giants and Dodgers are just getting started, and we're told that the Cubs have added 2 more at 3 Rivers, so it is Chicago 5 and Pittsburgh 2, with the Cubs still batting in the top half of the 9th inning. Well, our Coors Light play of the day. What do they call when a song comes out of the jukebox? That's a play, right? So we're going to do something a little different for our Coors Light play of the day. So Piazza responded to the fans with 3 hits, including the 2-run homer that turned out to be the difference. We will see you next on Labor Day, Monday afternoon, 1:30 here at Shea. Final game of the 4-game series. Cannon Mets Game Time with Matt Lockman starts it off at 1 o'clock. Make sure to stay tuned now for the very latest on the Cubs, the Giants. Sosa's got a homer. What McGuire do? Find out by watching Fox Sports News right here on Fox Sports New York. And then at midnight, stick around. Jim Rome has the last word on Fox Sports New York. Well, it started before Piazza came up. And when he did, oh, did he ever launch one. His second at-bat in the 4th inning, a 485-foot home run. All the scoring for the Mets. It came with Olerud aboard, but it would be all they would need. Oh, yeah, Louis Lopez had a birthday, too, and played an outstanding game defensively. See? So add it all up. Mets win 2-1. For Fran Healy and Matt Loughlin, I'm Howie Rose. Have a great night.